even know like I remember the name Maserati Pig came from
What up? This your boy Maserati Pig kicking off another episode of Let's Talk About a Different Conversation. Today we got a special guest in the building. Actually, the first woman guest of my show, and so I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about interviewing my cousin, who's come a long way, who's been part of me transcending into a different light of life myself. And so I want y'all to give it up for Miss Audrey North-Smith.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
I'm excited.
We want to get off into I want to tell the people, I know you from Carrollton.
Yeah.
But you was born as a military child, and so you traveled around a lot during your younger days, through your adolescent days. Can you give them a little bit about as far as?
Sure. I was born in Texas. I have an older brother that was born here in Carrollton, and my mom and dad were high school sweethearts. So he joined the Air Force and moved to Texas, and that's when I was born, and my baby brother was born in Texas. And from there we traveled everywhere my dad went. We were there, and it was a good life. We experienced different cultures of people, different personalities, and it was good. The different schools, and you meet friends, but then you go somewhere else and you meet another set of friends, but you had friends all over at the end of the travels. But I think the first 12 years I did a lot of traveling overseas, and mostly in different states. Yeah.
What are some of the places you live?
From Texas we went to the Philippines, Angeles City. We lived there for 2 years in the Philippines, and that's an island with Filipino people, and we learned their culture. We lived there and enjoyed it. From there we went back to Bangor, Maine. We lived up in the cold area. In my younger years, being a child, you enjoy the snow. People down here wouldn't enjoy the snow, but we enjoyed the snow. And then from there, we went from Maine. We went from there to Calumet, Michigan, which is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Very cold area. We were on a radar base. My dad was stationed there, and it was good. I had a lot of friends. My brothers had a lot of friends. And from there, we went from cold to hot. We went to Panama City, where we went to school off base. So most of the schools we went were not just on base. We went off base. And off base means that we were part of the community, the regular community. But when we came on base, we were part of the military community, and being a military brat, my dad was very, hands-on with us at all times. Yeah.
With moving around from country to country, basically, was it ever a time where you wanted to felt like you wanted to be settled in one area, or you like one area better than the other and you wish you could stay there?
Yeah, I did.
Which one was the best?
The best was Philippines.
The Philippines.
Yeah, I like the Orient. The Orient was interesting, and the people were interesting. There was so much to learn. Their culture, you would see pigs walking, but you wouldn't see dogs because that was a delicacy for them. By that I mean that's what they ate. That was what they ate, but they didn't eat the swine. We ate swine, pig, like we do here.
Right.
But there was so much and they were friendly. We could, we didn't fear. Our safety was always, good. We was, but Philippines was my best place. I love the Philippines. Want to go back, but I never wanted to settle and be in one place because we weren't used to that. My dad, 2 years, and Dad will say, "Well, I got another assignment. Well, where we going, Daddy? We got to go we went from Guam, San Francisco to Guam, Hawaii to Guam, and then the Philippines. You know, so we would just, wherever Daddy went, we went, you know.
As a adult, do you feel like the need to travel now because you travel so much and seen so much as an adolescent, as a child?
Now, being a single woman, I want to travel. Because I know where to go.
Right.
You know, I know where to go. So yeah, I want to travel for myself. You know, relax and kind of release some stress. You know, just be by myself and meditate. I wasn't doing that as a child. As a child, I just had to go with my parents. You know, so and seeing the world was, and I thank my mom and dad for the opportunity of the travels that I got, because it taught me a lot. It taught me how to get along with people of different flavors, of different nationalities, of different cultures, you know, and I thank them for that, for those travels. You know, I owe it all to them.
So like when y'all decided to move back to Carrollton, and around what time was that?
Well, Dad had already done 20 years, and he had been away from home for 20 years. And him and Mom decided that after he got to his end of his tour, that he would retire and build a home here. I didn't want to, but, you know, they built a home, and that's where it all began. You know, he didn't want to go no more. And he had that right. He had seen the world. He served his country, you know, and we saw that. My mom, you know, and my two brothers, he did everything that he was asked to do for the military. Now can sit down and do nothing, you know. And he started the store. He opened up a store on King Street, and continued to help people, you know. So I think that's where a lot of mine come from my mom and dad, were helping people.
So, like being back home in Carrollton, then you back around your family, and I know at one point in your life, you was married, and how many? Into the military again, right? Your husband was in the military, right?
Yeah.
So was it like you married a man that was in the military because your dad was in the military?
Yes.
Was it like a reflection of, like, you get what I'm saying?
And it was because I wanted a husband that would travel like my daddy, so that keep me going, keep me traveling and doing the things that we did when I was a child. But that didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out. The first one I tried to convince to join the military, and that didn't work out. He joined it, but I didn't go with him, you know. So I stayed in Carrollton. Same thing with the second one. Stayed in Carrollton. Same thing with the third one. But then, of course, I ended up in Atlanta with my third husband. Yeah.
So after you ended up in Atlanta, like with your third husband, what was the, like, when you started to go into like that space of like drug abuse and drug use and stuff like that? Was it after like your third marriage, or was it your? It was
actually my second marriage to get into the hard drugs, because early on in my teenage years and high school years, the thing to do was smoke weed,
right,
and drink wine and skip school. That was the thing to do. That was really wasn't the thing to do, but that's what they were doing. So for me to fit in, that's what I did, because they said that's the thing to do. So, you know, in order to fit in, I walked with them on that, and I learned later on that wasn't what I wanted. And the more I did the thing to do, I searched for harder, something more effective, because that was my nature at that time, addictive nature. I wanted to get high, and the thing to do, the weed wasn't getting it. So I was introduced to so many other things like black beauties and pink and all color pills and things, and those kind of things began to surface, and angel dust and things of that nature, all sorts of crystal this and that, and we experimented, but it just wasn't. It wasn't that until the third marriage, when I went to Atlanta. I was introduced to freebasing.
And around what year was that?
I was introduced to freebasing in 1981.
So freebasing, that was a time period before like the harder drug like crack.
Yes.
And crack came around like what, like
84.
Like 84.
And that's called, it was called Ready Rock.
Ready Rock.
Ready Rock. And that was, like I was telling you earlier, freebasing didn't have it was freebasing compared to Ready Rock. Ready Rock had more instant, go get it. You're constantly chasing it. But freebasing, you can freebase and you can sit down somewhere, and you can just do it and be, conversational. You ain't gotta block out no windows and park your car down the road. You can have a conversation and enjoy it in a different way. But when Ready Rock came out in '84, it opened the doors for a lot of people that never tried it and never tried freebasing, but they tried the Ready Rock, and it took them to levels and areas, and to ending up losing everything from Ready Rock.
Do you think that Ready Rock, crack, Ready Rock, same thing? Do you think that's like one of the main things that destroyed the black community?
I think so. Because it involved a lot of crime. People were actually stealing from their own people, their mamas and their daddies, their grandmamas that raised them, but they couldn't help it because they chasing that rock. Yeah.
And even with you going into that lane of using drugs, but you were still like able to still graduate from college at the same time?
Yeah.
Or was that beforehand, or even during the whole time you were still able to go to college and still maintain that lifestyle?
Actually, I hadn't actually gotten into freebasing when I graduated. I graduated in '79 from Massey Business College.
Okay.
So thereafter, I began to try to seek a good job, and that's when I found a good job with Fulton County Family and Children's Services. And I stayed there for 8 years, and during that time is when I actually got into the freebasing, and then from there.
So after getting into like the drugs and stuff like that, then of course 9 times out of 10 when someone deal with drugs and commit any type of crime, they end up being incarcerated at one point or another. And throughout that time, how many times would you say that you was probably incarcerated during that time?
From looking back in my records, I've been locked up 24 times. 24 times. And I went to prison twice. Even though I had been sentenced in one county, they never sent me. They just sent me to another county because I had to go to counties because I had VOPs in a lot of counties, violation of probation. And when I went to the other county, that the one that sentenced me to the 2 years never came back and got me. So I finished that and I left. Always watching my back, because I'm like, okay, so they sentenced me to 2 years in prison, but they hadn't come and got me. But as long as I didn't get in any trouble, maybe I would be okay. So I tried to dodge the system. And every time I dodged the system, I would end up with my back against the wall, Yeah.
So I remember you telling me, you had said something like when a person is on drugs and then they have fear in their life, that creates paranoia.
Yeah.
And I never ever looked at it like that.
Yeah.
But it made complete sense. Like when did you come up with that? Like what made you think that?
I actually thought of that when it happened to me, because when a person comes out of jail and they get the stipulation of, okay, you're sentenced to 12 months in probation, you have to report, you got to take a drug test, and knowing that an addict, a person that is an addict, and they got 12 months probation, and they want them to come every month and give money that they don't have, take a drug test that they don't want to do because they know they're dirty, then they don't report. That's why so many people don't report, because they have to have that drug. So for me, I had to have the drug. And what do I look like giving them $75 when I can give my dope guy $75, and he's not gonna take 70, he wants 75, then I'm gonna give him 75, because that's what I need. I gotta have that dope, I gotta have the drug in me. So that gave me the knowledge of knowing that okay, so I violated, I didn't report, they're gonna send a warrant on me. Okay, so here I am. Every time I'm getting high, I'm thinking about knowing that the probation officer probably gonna pull up, y'all, or anybody looking for me. I ain't here. I ain't here. Everywhere I would go, and people would know that the police looking for me, so they would, you know how they do, come here, let me holler at you. Look, we finna close up. You gonna have to, and then they sit me out there in the dark, you know, and here I am, that paranoid, because I know they looking for me. So here you got this fear, and here you got putting them together, and that's that paranoid. So when I get to the next dope house, I'm so paranoid. They looking at me like, she must be the man. Why she keep looking out the window? That's why it began to happen. Everywhere you go, everybody's looking out the window. Somebody, either they husband looking for them, they old lady looking for them, the law looking for them, they mama looking for them. You know you should have paid the light bill, and you know spent your light bill money. You know you didn't pay the house note. Now we finna get put out. So all of that puts that paranoid in a person, and sometimes it can kill you, paranoid, because you be so paranoid. You're like, oh man, and then the next day you're like, man, they cut my lights off, man. But hey, man, what can you do for me? Can you, you know? And then you get out of jail, and you gonna always get the first one free. Like I tell them, you gonna get that first one free. The rest of them not gonna be free. You gotta work for them.
That's a trick. Like
Yeah.
when you get out of jail, you get the first one.
Yeah, they're gonna give you that first one free. Cause hey, what's up? Be some that you look good. You done got thick and everything. What you need? You know, yeah, I'm gonna give you this one. What's on the house? Get me messed up. Messed up.
You know, I know you hung my daddy a lot, like our first cousin. And the first time, you know, I'm from Westside, Carrollton, so I seen drugs my whole life. I seen it cooked up as a youngin'. I seen it sold when I was young. It was just part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, and whether I was involved with it or not, it was still around me. That was my environment. And the first time I ever seen someone smoke crack was my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember we was on MLK, and we was in the back seat of a car, and there was two white men in the front seat. And I remember like my dad telling the two white men, like, I'm coming back with it. Like, y'all got my son in the car with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he get out the car to go do whatever he had to do, and I'm in the back seat like, man, I hope he come back. Man, it's funny now, but
Yeah.
you know, back then I was like,
Those
because I
days.
was young, I was probably like 8, 9 years old, something like that. And I'm hearing them tell the two white dudes that, yeah, I'm coming back with y'all stuff. Like, I got my son in the car, and when he got out the car, he walked across the field or whatnot. That's what I was thinking at the time. Like, man, I hope my daddy come back, because I already know, like, the addiction of drugs, he could run off with whatever they had going on, and
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And so he came back, and I remember riding around in the car with him, and they was smoking. That was my first time seeing, like, it was like a pipe going into a crack can or a Coke can or whatever. And I'm just looking, and it kind of got like, after that, it gave me a different insight on the drug game and stuff like that. And so I remember when I had first got into it, I was like 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was on the corner of MLK and Robert Hendricks. And when I first sold my first down route, I was 14 years old in junior high school. But you know, we didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? My daddy was gone, and family didn't have nothing, and you know, it was like, man, I don't want to wear these Walmart clothes. I'm tired of all lights being off. I'm tired of being hungry. I'm tired of not having nothing and not being included with the cool kids at school because they got on, whether it's Ivy Crew or Levi's or whatever. Like, I'm tired of these ain't real JD hoops. These come from, you know what I'm saying? And but I seen at an early age, I seen what the hardcore drug would do to like the community, like my aunties and stuff like that, and I would hear certain things, and I was like, oh, they're like, you know, this ain't for the black community. It's really gonna, at the end out, like, it's gonna really destroy us and destroy the generations behind us, for real. And even though I continued to do what I was doing at a young age, it was always in the back of my mind that, like, man, you destroying your community, man. This ain't what really going on. You really destroying these people, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, when you was going through what you were going through with the drug addiction and stuff like that, did you ever feel like that? Did you ever feel like you were destroying your family, like your kids, your mom, dad? Like, how did you feel? Were you just basically like riding the wave? It's like, it's my life, I'm doing what I want to do, it's whatever. Did you have that subconscious feeling of like, I know this is wrong, and you know?
No. Now, remember, I told you how I traveled all over the world.
Right.
So I had sense.
Yeah.
I had the education. I had family that loved me.
Right.
I had a 5 generations. My great grandmama, Miss Missy, my grandmama, my mama, and they all were there. But what happened when I came and I got hooked on it in my hometown, I was ashamed, so they never ever saw me high. They heard about it, but they never saw me. I would see them coming, and I'd hide behind a tree, and I was small enough to hide behind a stem if I could, because I was ashamed. But the addiction makes you not care, or it not necessarily makes you not care, but it gets you to the point of, I can't help myself, because I know he closes at 11, and I got to get all I can get to get the money to get what I need or what I want. Because the thing about addiction is, you know, I got high because I liked it. And I tell my clients today, I love me some crack, but I didn't like how it did my life and how it did my family. I love me some crack. And for 25 years, you know, my kids weren't with me. They were being raised separately. So that freed me up, and running from the law. So I'd go from here to there to keep away from the law. Until they catch me, then I, you know, lay down for 3 months in the county jail, eat noodles and drink cold coffee, and I'm good. But you just, it's a process. Now I know that now. After treatment, after talking about it, I know that now. Now I'm able to help someone else with what I know now. Now will it work for them? They have to have a made up mind.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny. I was just listening to what you were saying, like how you was hiding, and I was thinking about like, man, when I was young and I was in the street, like if I see my mama coming down the road and I know I'm working in the street, I'm gonna hide too.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like let you know like that how wrong it kind of is, because like you the dealer and you hiding, and you the user, and the user hiding from their family members because they don't want to be seen as but the dealer hiding from their family members too. A lot of them anyway, the one that with the conscience, because they don't want their mama to catch them selling drugs and stuff like that too. So you just put a magnifying glass on the community. It's just like a whole bunch of people just hiding, and then they hide them from the love at that.
Well, I don't. The day that they laid your father to rest, I was across the street watching, and I was too high to come. I had been up 3 days, but I looked out the window, and I could see the procession going down one of them. That hurt me, because I should have been there. But how could I go there in front of people that I've shamed, that I felt like I've shamed, and that I'm ashamed of myself? And I saw them. I said, there you go. And I saw them going down. I saw y'all going down the street. And what hurt me the most was so many times that had happened in my life, and I wasn't able to be there. And now that my life has changed, I try to be there during loss, and that was deep. Today it's just like I remember it like it was yesterday, on that day.
I know when you came upstairs, I knew when you seen that picture, it was gonna take you back.
Yeah, it took me there. Yeah.
But like just from like traveling around the world as a youth, and being a child of a father that was in the military, and then just seeing so much, and then growing up and being married to your husband was in the military, and then going to college and actually graduating from college, but then just going into that dark space of the life when you became addicted to drugs. But like at some point in your life, were you ever like, this is it, I'm just gonna like basically like crash out on it, and or like was it like, I'm gonna get off of it one day, like one of these days I'm gonna stop, I can't stop now, but one of these, did you have that hope? Did you keep that hope within you?
I did many times. And the thing about it is, I never knew anyone that got off of it that I hung with. Everybody I hung with, nobody went in rehab. Nobody, the only way they stopped was because they got locked up. And that was only temporary. They didn't have a life sentence, like I told you earlier. I knew I didn't have a life sentence. And as long as I knew I was going to get out, then it would be there for me, So, I had hope, but I didn't know how to start. And when I went into treatment, that was my beginning. That was my new life, new beginnings. Yeah. It was good. It was so good. And I still go back there to that place, and that's where I started and thought I wasn't gonna do.
Hold that thought. We're gonna take a quick break.
Okay.
We're gonna come back and we're gonna get deeper into your life story.
Okay.
So 24 times locked up, 2 times in prison. You get one day you receive a call to come to the courthouse. What was your thought at that point when you received that call to come to the courthouse?
Wow. I remember that very well. I was at home and with my mom and dad, and the call said, "Hey, Miss Audrey, this is Judge Blackman. Can you come up here to the courthouse? We're in a meeting right now, and want you to come up to be a part of the meeting." And I didn't ask what for or anything. All I could say was, "Yes, sir." I guess after all of the years saying yes, sir, to the judge, you just say yes, sir. And I'm like 3 minutes from the courthouse, from my house. And once I got there, they were all sitting in there and smiling. And I'm like, "Yes, sir. Have a seat." And we want to talk to you about this drug court. We're the second drug court in the state of Georgia, and we just started up, and we're needing a case manager to help manage the caseload and help people with addiction, substance abuse. And we thought, couldn't think of anyone better for the job but you. And like 30 seconds, my mouth was open like, "Okay, yes, sir." And let us tell you a little bit about it. And when I was presented the how much they would pay, or it wasn't about the money, but it was about, at that time I had 2 years clean, 2, and I'm like, "Oh wow, then that'll give me that door." And yes, we everything you come. We're gonna show you your own office and everything. We'll train you to drug screen and this, that, and the other. And I went home and I cried to my mom and dad. I mean, real tears. I'm like, Mama said, "You better take it. You better take that job."
For real.
Yeah. So I took the job, and for the first 9 years, I didn't miss a beat. And then, like 4 years into it, the parole office called me. "Miss Audrey, can you come over there?" And that was across the street at that time on Tanner Street. And I went over there, and the chief there called me in and said, "Miss Audrey, we need someone to do the groups, the MRT groups." And I said, "Okay." And we couldn't think of anyone but you. You've been doing such a good job at drug court. Would you like to work for us as well, doing the evening groups? And I said, yes. Another door opened. My opportunity to share my testimony and share my story with those coming out of incarceration that needed these groups. Like I had the groups, because I was on parole too at one point in time. And then from there, Douglasville parole office called me and asked me the same thing. So I did their groups on Thursday night, and I did the Carroll County groups on Tuesday night, and I worked for drug court Monday through Friday, and on the weekends, prison.
I mean, it's going to prison twice, being incarcerated, being locked up 24 times, being strung out on what is known as the hardest drug to ever hit America, mankind, period, crack cocaine, and to, just be resilient through all of that and bounce back, and to have to the point where the judge is calling you and wanting to offer you a job, and the job is to help your people. I mean, I can't even imagine how you must have felt. I can't even imagine. It seems surreal. It seems like it's not even like that's not even possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a person that's been locked up so many times and going through the drug issues and stuff like that, they'll never see that. They'll never even think that far. Who would? You know what I'm saying? But that's just the point. That's the point that I try to make, to let people know, your life is for living. you got to keep on living it. You don't know. You really don't know where you're gonna end up at. You really don't know where doors are gonna open up for you. You never. I mean, you never know the people. Like your situation might change somebody's life. And I know, you know, like I was telling you, and this is a fact because a guy at work, Kevin Wilson, he told me, he said, man, they was gonna send me to prison. He was talking about they were gonna send him to prison one time. And he said that it was you that got him in drug court. And he said it changed his life. And now, like I said, he's doing, he just got hired on where I work at Sugar Food, and he doing good for himself. But he still, like, what you did for him still plays a part in his life today because of the change that was made in his life at that particular point. He could still reflect off of it and bounce back to it as he continues his journey in life, and it's because of you. And it's a grown man telling me this. You know what I'm saying? And so, just to be able to, I know, like back in the day, there was probably a lot of lives that you might have hurt. You know, just going through the addiction. But today, like for two grown men to be having a conversation at Sugar Foods at work, and one of them be telling the other one, man, yeah, that lady changed my life. And I know it's a million other stories like that as well. Like, how do you feel like knowing that you changed so many people's lives, helping them get into drug court and helping people out?
It's like your favorite meal. My favorite meal is crab legs. Satisfies me.
With butter?
Oh, no butter.
Oh.
Hot sauce. No butter. No. But it satisfies me. Mm-hmm. It calms me. Chocolate, Reese's, calms me. Mm-hmm. When I hear that, it calms me. Mm-hmm. It gives me a sense of I can exhale. Because the word says if you just help one, if you can get one to come through, you've done the work I've called you to do. Mm-hmm. So for me, I don't brag. I don't talk about it. I just do. I just keep doing it. I just keep going in the direction that I'm supposed to go, and that's straight ahead. And I've won some, and I've lost a lot. But what do? I got to keep going. And I have gotten stuck in the losses because it's like, do I give up because I've lost? No, you got to keep going. You know, sometimes I'm like, I'm through. And I've never stopped. I've never stopped doing what I'm doing. Right. I don't think I've stopped. And now, mind you, Judge Blackman is the one that sent me to prison.
Right.
So when I got out of prison, he called me back to come to this. You know, who does that? What? Right. Me, a convicted felon. Me, right. A sticky fingers, a booster. Mm-hmm. You know, and it just calms me, and I can sleep at night. But you know, in the beginning, my phone stayed ringing. Mm-hmm. You know, Miss Audrey can help you call her, or the mamas calling about their children. Can you help my child? You know, and I can't say, well, no, I can't. I don't think I've ever told anyone no, but if I can't help you, I can point you in the way that can help you or can help you, you know, because there's no quick fix. It's not a quick fix anywhere. Right. You know, you got to put in the work. Like you were saying up there, your work. You got to work, and you've earned your weekends off.
Right.
So what did you do? You just kept looking forward. You kept pushing, and you pushed until something happened. Yeah. Push, pray until something happened.
Okay. I never heard of that. Like a push, Francis.
And then it'll come quickly, sometimes slowly, but it will materialize if you work for it. It will materialize.
What was like when you started the Say No to Dope
Yeah.
march,
Yeah.
like what year was that?
That was 2010.
2010. So it's
Yeah.
going on with 11. This is 12th year.
No,
Next year?
I take that back. It's 2008.
Yeah, it was before that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Because this year would have been 15 years, but because of last year was the
COVID.
pandemic, and then this year I had a knee surgery, so I just decided to bow out on it. Didn't want to, because I've been going strong because, and it's a walk for awareness. It is not for to raise no money. I'm not giving away no free hot dogs, no free T-shirts.
Yeah,
It was about y'all. I didn't have no money. it was like, say no to dope because there is hope. Say no to dope because there is hope. That was my go-to,
Right.
and I needed the people to hear that and understand. And like I said, we tacked on so many other things to not just drugs, but suicide, bullying, like I told you, teen violence, gun violence, and those kind of things began to rise in our community.
Are they rising now? Do you see a rise in it now?
Not as much as it was, but it's here.
But as far as
it's
like
more incarcerations.
about suicide, as far as
Yeah.
suicide, it's more.
Yeah, there's more a lot of suicide in different areas, rural areas, not our immediate Carrollton, but it's there. The rates, it would surprise you. It would surprise you.
Yeah, I think that march is very, very necessary. I mean, when you invited me out to do it,
Yeah.
when we met at the water park,
Yeah.
and had the sign and stuff, and I'm like,
Oh, I was lit.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, man, what you doing? But as we started to march down the street and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I thought back to like watching my daddy smoke crack as a youngster. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I'm marching down these same streets that he ran in, and I'm saying no, say no to dope. Like no matter what part I played in it, like I said, like what I seen when I was younger. So that was a very proud moment for me when I got up on stage with LV and James,
Yeah.
James Dollar Trap Theology, and you brought me. They really changed my life, and it's just like a chain reaction. Like you changed my life, and I got on stage and I spoke, and then the white lady and her son walked up to me and said that the daddy killed himself and he was contemplating suicide, and after hearing me talk, he didn't want to kill himself no more. So that was me changing his life through you changing my life, and that's what it should be about. Like your struggle, your pain should be heard, because you never know when they're gonna help the next person to get through what they going through. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, like they just wanna show you the other side on social media. They want to show you the good side on Instagram. But they don't want to
filter.
Yeah, they want to exactly when you never know. Like telling somebody what you going through, what you went through, and where you at now. You never know that could actually save somebody's life. Because I mean, if that young white boy walked up to me right now, I wouldn't know him. But I remember when he did walk up to me, and that little man was going to kill himself. He was contemplating suicide, and he decided not to do it from listening to my life story. And so when people listen to your life story, it's amazing throughout all the things that you've been through, and you still able to overcome and still be on a mission to this day, still changing lives, still having grown men tell how you changed their life, and I just applaud that, and as everybody should. I hope that you keep doing it, keep pushing, keep getting bigger at it, keep reaching out to the people, and I'm behind you 100%. Like I'm right back in it. I'm glad I'm off on the weekends now. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right,
So I'm ready.
that's right.
I'm ready to get inside them prison systems and stuff like that too. So yeah, I mean,
I want you to remember though, how I've always told people, you can get tired on the journey, but don't get tired of the journey. Okay? You get tired on this journey, but don't get tired of the journey. You know, because there's so many people that give up. Give out before the miracle happens. Don't give up before the miracle happens.
All right.
If you don't give up before it's going to happen. It might not happen when we want it, but it's going to happen if you don't give up. Just hang on in there.
Yeah, that kind of like me being at work. Like,
Yeah.
man, I'm finna walk out.
Walk out of here, cause yeah.
I don't want to stick around for that check. I want to stick around for that check.
I hear you.
But you know, just all joking to the side,
Yeah.
but like, don't give up. I think that's the key to life. I think that's the key to life. I remember it was a rapper, Rich Homie Quan. I remember him saying like years ago, a long time ago, he said, and I lost family, and I lost friends, and I lost money, but I never lost my mind. And as long as you keep a peace of mind and your sanity, then it should push you to never give up. And as long as you never give up, you never know where the end all gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So.
And you know, a lot of people, if you hear about the mental health, a lot of people, they don't have to be on drugs to have mental health issues.
Right.
They don't. You know, mental health is prevalent now. It's prevalent now, and in mental health, sometimes mental health issues comes from not having. Like you said, we were hungry, or this and that, you know, and you don't want to, you don't want to lose that hope. That's why I've always called my mission, my ministry, There Is Hope. Because there is hope. You're looking at it. I always knew that, you know, because of the way that I was raised, and I kept and let me tell you a quick. My daddy, the first time I went to prison, had 5 years. I did 15 months and come out and relapse as soon as I got out. And my daddy finally got to me. You know what he said? He said, man, I thought being in prison was going to help you. I thought that was going to change. But I couldn't give him an answer because the addiction had me running in all sorts of directions. So I couldn't say I did too. Because I already knew what I was going to do when I got out. I had already, been on the yard, already deciding when I get out. My TPM that came, I got to go.
Yeah.
Get ready. At TPM, I got my papers.
TPM, tenant parole.
What you say, and so I knew like I told you, I knew I didn't have a life sentence, and I knew I was going to get out. So I knew it was going to still be about me. It was all about, not about my family, but it was about me getting what I want. Give me. And then I was right back in that cycle, just spiraling down, day in and day out. I had gained my weight up, and then I ended up, I think I might have been 90 pounds soaking wet within a month. Because you don't eat, and you sure don't sleep. So that, I don't mind talking about it. It's just like how I was chasing that drug. I slobber at the mouth just talking about hope.
Now you was 90 pounds soaking wet. Now would you consider yourself thick?
What you say? Please, and lip plump. Come on with me. I come a long way. Right. Yes, sir. Right. Don't want to lose no weight. I'm good. I don't, but I've seen a lot. In my community, and to come home and stay this time, not run from it, but stay in here. Just stay put.
So when I know COVID hit, so when would you host the next Say No to Dope?
Probably after the winter. I might do a spring one. I'm itching, and then hopefully by the spring it might get better. But see, we won't be. It's still going to be the same way. Chief told me, whenever you ready to walk, Miss Audrey, just let us know, and they're going to escort us down the road, and we'll be enough social distance to release balloons and get some speakers and mask. And the only reason I didn't do it this time is because so much was going on.
Too much going on.
Too much. So I'm looking at spring. As soon as this weather break, I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then come back to the substance abuse month, which is September. But I did see the fourth Saturday in October. The community at Carrollton gave me that annual day. I was awarded that annual day when I got my pardon. They gave me Say No to Dope Day.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be the fourth Saturday in October. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, y'all hear that? The fourth Saturday in October.
Yeah.
Every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
Until I can't do it no more.
That's amazing. And if you haven't been part of the Say No to Dope March rally, like, it's a great thing. I was there. I experienced it. If you know anybody that's fighting with a drug addiction, whether it's meth, whether it's crack, cocaine, or whatever, like, it's a good reason to march for them. You know what I'm saying?
Alcohol.
Get out there, alcohol. Get out there and march for your people. You know what I'm saying? So if they want to get in contact with you, how could they get in contact with you?
I was ready to give you my number.
As far as like Instagram, Facebook.
Oh yeah,
that.
Facebook under Audrey North.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or Messenger.
Messenger.
I get a lot of messengers. Yeah,
Okay.
that messenger thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was a great. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
A real pleasure to have you on the show and to
My pleasure, my honor.
and to hear your story, and from where you was to where you at now. You got one of the greatest stories I ever heard in my life. And personally knowing you, being blood cousins with you, you being one of my daddy's best friends, first cousins, and I just want you to keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing, because not only do you motivate me, you motivate so many people, so many others as well, and you're doing a great job.
Doing my best. This too shall pass. Oh yeah. It get greater later.
Greater later.
I treat it just like a classic on, you know what I'm saying? And then what it is, man, you know me, I might go buy another one just for the fuck, you know what I'm saying, man?